this particular session for the managing the culture by design, in the previous session we have talked about that what are the different norms, values, beliefs and symbols are there which reflects the particular culture is there. Now, the managing the culture by design and the qualities of a great organization culture is there. So, four types of the organizational cultures we will be discussing with the cultural strength and organizational subcultures. As usual, we will discussing the case studies, State Bank of India and HSCL, then the research papers, book recommendations and references are there. So, company culture is the backbone for any successful organization is there, and here the managers want a corporate culture that reinforces the strategy and structural design that the organization needs to be effective within its environment is there. For example, if the external environment requires flexibility and responsiveness, such as the environment for internet based companies like the Twitter, Netflix, Facebook or Hulu, the culture should encourage adaptability, and the correct relationship among the culture values, organization strategy and structure in the environment can enhance the organizational performances there. Culture can be assessed along many dimensions, such as the extent of collaboration versus the isolation among the people and the department, the importance of control and whether the control is the concentrated or whether the organization, so the time orientation is a 30 short range or the long range are there, and here we focus on the two specific dimensions are there. So, therefore, in that case this can be managed the culture by design. So, yes, we can manage the culture by the design and by the making the correct relationship. So, whenever an employee joins and then when he understands the culture through its values, beliefs, norms, symbols and other artifacts, then he develops himself with that particular environment, managing himself with that particular culture, and therefore, what he does, that is the out of the many dimensions of the culture, he will try to get the accommodator with that particular culture, and as a result of which the managing culture by the design, that concept starts. So, the extent to which the competitive environment requires flexibility or stability. Now, you see that is the every individual is having its own personality, and then in that personality he requires to be the flexible, somewhat flexible or somewhat stable, and therefore, in that case it is important that is the you become the more flexible or the stable accordingly. The extent to which the organizations the strategic focus and the strengths are internal or the external are there. So, here we will find that is the it is becoming the very important that is at what extent the organization strategies are they are focused and the person understands the strengths of the organization, whether it is internal or external is there. So, four categories of culture associated with these differences as illustrated further are the adaptability, mission, then the clan and bureaucratic is there. These four categories relate to the fit among the cultural values, strategy, structure and the environment. Each can be successful depending on the needs of the external environment and the organization's strategic focus are there. Now, these alignments when we talk about of a great organization culture, this alignment comes when the company's objectives and its employees motivates are all pulling in the same direction. So, exceptional organizations work to build the continuous alignment to their vision, purpose and goals. Appreciation can take many forms, a public kudos, a note of thanks or a promotion. A culture of appreciation is one in which all team members frequently provide the recognition and thanks for the contributions of others. Trust is the vital to an organization, and with the culture of trust, team members can express themselves and rely on others to have their back when they try something new. So, therefore, first and foremost is that is the alignment. Unless and until the employees they do not align with that particular the culture, then definitely in that case they will not be able to deliver or the compete. So, therefore, in the first and foremost is the alignment is there. Second is that is about the appreciation. So a culture of appreciation always to be there in the organization, so that the team members and they get this recognition and the thanks for their contribution of others are there. So trust is vital to an organization, and where you develop that particular trust is there. So with a culture of trust, the trust building is very necessary. With a culture of trust, team members can express themselves and rely on others to have their back when they try something new. So performance is the key, as great companies create a culture that means the business. In these companies, talented employees motivate each other to excel in greater profitability and productivity are the results. So resilience is a key quality in highly dynamic environments where the change is continuous. A resilience culture will teach leaders to watch for and respond to the change with the ease is there. So teamwork encompasses the collaboration, communication and respect between the team members are there. So when everyone on the team supports each other, employees will get more work done and feel happier while the doing it is there. So it is the always when, as we have talked about, that is the appreciation is one, another one is that is the resilience is the key quality. So therefore when the in spite of these so many adverse internal and external environmental factors, the organization suffers, but because of the resilience in nature, will leaders who watch for and respond to the change with the case is there, and that is a key quality is there. Always it is not the one person who will give the result in the organization. It is a teamwork which makes the difference. So encompasses the collaboration, communication and the respect between the team members are there. When everyone on the team supports each other, employees will get more work done and feel happier while the doing it is there. Integrity like trust is vital to all teams when they rely on each other to make decisions, interpret results and form partnerships. Honesty and transparency are the critical components of the aspect of culture. So innovation leads organization to get the most out of available technologies, resources and markets. A culture of innovation means that you apply creative thinking to all aspects of your business, even your own cultural initiatives are there. This is a psychological safety provides the support employee need to take risk and provide the honest feedback. Remember that the psychological safety starts at the team level, not the individual level. So managers need to take the lead in creating a safe environment where everyone feels comfortable contributing. And now that you know what a great culture looks like, let us tackle how to build one in your organization. So unless and until you do not provide that psychological safety, because that is the employees when they want to take the risk and they provide the honest feedback, then it is necessary that you are having that particular type of the psychological safety provided to the your employees are there. So it will creating a safe environment and they will feel comfortable while the contributing is there. Now that you know what a great culture looks like, so let us tackle how to build one in your organization is there. So four types of the organization cultures are there. One is the adaptability, clan, bureaucratic and the mission is there. Now here we have to understand that is the when the needs of the environment in between the internal and the stability is concerned, then there will be the bureaucratic culture will be there, because that will show the more the control and stability and order is there. Whenever there is the strategic focus is about the flexibility and the external is there, then in that case it will be the more adaptability will be there. So this will giving you the more creativity, flexibility and responsiveness is there. Now the mission performance, that is the competitiveness and the goal orientation will be there, and this will make the clan, the teamwork, friendliness and the consideration is there, that is the internal and the flexibility is there. So first we have to understand that is the whether we are having the internal environmental factors or whether we are having the external environmental factors. Now in case of these internal environmental factors, we will find that is it is whether it is stable or the flexible is there. So all these the particular all the four cultures we will discuss in detail also. the adaptability culture. The adaptability culture is characterized by the strategic focus on the external environment through flexibility and change to meet the customer needs are there. Here it is with the external environmental factor, as we have seen in this previous figure, that is it is the flexibility and external which is bringing this particular the adaptability. So, therefore, this adaptability culture is characterized by strategic focus on the external environmental through flexibility and change to meet customer needs are there. Unless and until you are not flexible, you will not able to meet. The culture encourages the entrepreneur values, norms and beliefs that support the capacity of the organization to detect, interpret and translate signals from the environment into the new behavior responses are there. These cultural entrepreneur values that the organization has to build, and therefore, in that case this will lead to the translate the signals from the environment as a behavior response is there. And when the companies are having this adaptability culture with the flexibility with the customer needs, or when they detect, interpret that is environment changes are required and they respond to these environmental changes, this type of the company however does it just reach quickly to environmental change, it actually creates the changes there. So, innovation, creativity and risk taking are the valued and rewarded and under the adaptability culture is there. The most adaptability culture in the most internal based companies use the adaptability type of the culture, as do many companies in the marketing, electronics and the cosmetic industries, because they must move quickly to satisfy the customers are there. So, Zappos.com become a hugely successful internet retailer with an adaptability culture that encourages open mindedness, teamwork and the little weirdness was there. The another type of this culture, and that is about the mission culture. In the mission culture, an organization concerned with the serving the specific customers in the external environment, but without the need for the rapid change, is suited to the mission culture. The mission culture is characterized by the emphasis on a clear vision of the organization's purpose and on the achievement of goals such as sales growth, profitability or the market share to help and achieve the purpose. Individual employees may be responsible for a specific level of performance and the organization promises specified rewards in return. So, managers shape their behavior by investing and communicating a desired culture, future and state for the organization is there. This particular understanding by these the managers, where they are giving the shaping to the organization by understanding about the culture is there and leading towards a particular future of the organization, then that culture we will call the mission culture. Because the environment is stable, they can translate the vision into measurable goals and evaluate the employee performance for the meeting them. So, in some cases mission culture reflects a high level of competitiveness and a profit making orientation. Ensure Bush in view reflects a mission culture, professionalism, ambition and aggressiveness are the key values. Managers keep employees focused on the achieving high sales and profit levels, and those who meet the demanding goals are the handsomely rewarded. So, bonuses and the promotions are based on the performance, not the seniority, and top executives are the unapologetic about the giving the special treatment to the high achievers are there. The bureaucratic culture has an internal focus and the consistency orientation for a stable environment. This type of the culture supports a methodical approach to doing business, symbols, heroes and ceremonies, reinforces the value of cooperation, tradition and following established policies and practices as ways to achieve goals. Personal environment is somewhat lower here, but that is outweighed by a high level of consistency, conformity and collaboration among the members are there. This organization succeed by being highly integrated and efficient is there. So, therefore, the bureaucratic organization is also a different type of the organization which is involved, but here in spite of the level of these the particular behavior, they will going by this highly integrated and the efficient way. Today, most managers are shifting away from the bureaucratic culture because of a need for the greater flexibility. However, Pacific A Software, now part of the Serena software, successfully implemented elements of a bureaucratic culture to ensure that all its the projects stayed on time and on budget. The husband and the wife, that is the co-founders, Lisa Morton and Scott Fuller, intentionally established a culture of order, discipline, and the control. The emphasis on order and focus mean to employee generally went home by 6 p.m. and rather than working all night to finish an important project is there. So, this is also the way of the creating the culture. So, although sometimes being careful means being slow on the Pacific age managed it keep pace with the demands to the external environment. Some people like the order and predictability of a bureaucratic culture, whereas the other people would feel stifled and constrained by the too much discipline and would be happier working in some other type of the culture is there. The clan culture, and the clan culture has a primary focus on the involvement and participation of the organization's members and on rapidly changing expectations from the external environment is there. So, this culture is similar to the clan form of the control and more than any other. The culture focuses on measuring the needs of the employees as as the route to the high performance is there, because we have understood that is for motivating the employees it is necessary that is understand their needs and satisfy the needs as much as possible. Involvement and participation creates a sense of responsibility and ownership, and hence greater commitment to the organization is there. Now, here we find the four type of the organization cultures. In a clan culture, an important value is taking care of employees and making sure they have whatever they need to help them be satisfied as well as productive. Although many companies in the software industry emphasize value associated with an adaptability culture, SCL has been highly successful with a strong clan culture. The culture strength refers to the degree of agreement among members of an organization about the importance of specific values. If widespread consensus exists about the importance of those values, the culture is cohesive and strong. A little agreement exists, the culture is weak. A strong culture is typically associated with the frequent use of ceremonies, symbols, and the stories, and managers align structure and the P to support the cultural values. These elements increase employees' commitment to the values and strategy of the company. However, culture is not always unformed throughout the organization, particularly by the large companies. So, here even in organization that have strong culture, there may be several set of these subcultures will be there. Cultural strength in this organization's subculture we study, that is the subcultures developed to reflect the common problems, the goals and experience that members of a team development or the other units share. So, therefore, an office, a branch, a unit, a company, and a physically separated from the company's main operation may also take on any distinctive subculture. So, for example, although the dominant culture of an organization may be a mission culture, but various departments may also reflect characteristics of the adaptability, clan, or the bureaucratic culture is there. And here we will find that is the whenever we are talking about these studies, geographical separations, manufacturing departments may thrive in an environment that emphasize the order, efficiency, and obedience of rules. Whereas the research and development department may be characterized by employee empowerment, flexibility, and customer focus, as we had discussed in this previous where the dominant culture may be mission culture, and the various departments may also reflect characteristics of the adaptability, clan, or the bureaucratic culture is there. So, culture strength and organization subcultures main operations may be here distinctive will be there. So, here we find that is the how culture concept of differentiation. different. Employees in manufacturing, sales and research departments studied by the Paul Lawrence and J. Losh developed different values with respect to time horizon, interpersonal relationship and the normality in order to perform the job of the each particular department most effectively. When it comes to the organization having the multiple branches, formation of a subculture due to geographical separation becomes inevitable. Here I would like to take a particular case study at the State Bank of India, and in the subculture of the two branches of the State Bank of India located within a 10-kilometer radius from one another. The Akanka branch and the EcoSpace branch of State Bank of India both come under the semi-urban region of Kolkata. Now, located within a distance of merely 8 kilometers from one another, the infrastructure and the working environment between the two branches differ majorly. Normally, we say that is the if it is a geographical location which plays an important role in the different culture formation, but here we find that is the even though they are only 8 kilometers away from each other and they are creating this particular difference in the environment and working culture is there. Now, the Akanka branch is located in an independent compound, and so its building is like any other branch. However, the EcoSpace branch, as a result of being located in the IT hub, is much more aesthetically appeasing. It shares a compound form with many other organizations' offices as well. The branch is surrounded by a lot of greenery and has a lot of fancy cafes and eating outlets around it. Unlike any other bank branch, employees of this branch have access to a cafeteria as well as it offers to a variety of cuisines to choose from. There are similar smaller versions of the famous food joint outside the cafeteria with open seating arrangement is there. Small ponds with ducks and birds can also be seen here. The entire view is serene and calming and provides the employees of SBI a much needed atmospheric change within a span of 10 meters from their office. Employees of this branch as a result report being much happier than those of the other branches. The kind of public that comes to this branch is also more educated owing to its location, and so the employees find it relatively easier to deal with them. So, the stress level reported by the employees of this branch in terms of customer dealing are far less than that of the others are concerned. So, employees of other branches are seen requesting to the higher authorities and that may be transferred to this branch since it is considered to be an easier posting is there. So, here we find that is the how when the stress level that is the by the employees in one branch has been found very high as compared to others, then the employees from the other branch they also want to go for this similar other branch. Now, I would like to take the another case study of HCL. HCL was plagued with many problems when Vinit Nair was appointed as the new president in 2005, and the high attrition rate and a demoralized workforce were amongst his primary issues. In order to deal with this, Vinit announced a radical new strategy: employee first, customer second. So, therefore, HCL wanted to create a unique employee organization by providing a uniform experience to employees of all ranks, enabling functions such as administration, human resource, finance, accounts, IT, support were to be accountable to the employees. This type of an egalitarian approach had been successful in high-tech setups in Silicon Valley and elsewhere, but how would they feel a large multinational company was yet to be seen. To begin with, an inverted organization structures was the instituted. This organization structure had the reverse accountability, which essentially mean that the managers were accountable to their subordinates. A 360-degree mechanism to collect the feedback irrespective of the level in the organization at which a manager work was used. While traditional hierarchical setups only allowed a top-down flow of ideas, Vinith was of the viewpoint that bidirectional flow of ideas was needed in order to ensure high employees engagement and an innovative climate. And thus, a variety of mechanisms were introduced by the senior management team to increase the employee engagement. Opinion polls were used to gather the options of the employees on policy issues that would affect a large part of the organizations are there. An event under the name Directions was organized annually to take the strategic discussion out of the closed door meetings to the all employees. The CEO and the leadership team would be present at this meeting as well as to share their vision for the company and respond to the new questions posed at them in the interactive sessions. This initiative allowed everyone to understand how their contribution fit in the larger organizational framework and to speak the same language. As an online forum that allowed employees to interact directly with the CEO was launched at the end of 2006, and this platform came by the known as the U&I initiatives. In the with the company's philosophy that thinking is not the monopoly of a central group, a lot of avenues and where employees could contribute their ideas were provided to them. One such avenue was an idea generation portal that is called the iGen. So, this portal allowed employees to submit their ideas related to the improvement of the existing business or the rolling out of a completely new process is there. Now, this type of the initiatives that definitely has motivated to the employees very much, and they were now they may be making this culture more flexible and adaptable. Now, I will talk about a research paper that is the influence of organization culture and job design on job commitment and human resource performance is there. So, here it becomes very important to understand that what is the organization culture and job designs are influencing on the job commitment. Does it increasing the job commitment and does it increasing the human resource performance of an organization? The purpose of this study is to analyze the relationship between the job design, job commitment and organizational culture with human resource performance. A case study of the construction services provided by the research population consisted of all employees of a national company, and the findings of this paper is mentioned about the job design have a significant direct effect on the job commitment. Likewise, the effect of organization culture and job commitment on human resource performance is also significant. However, a difficult result is shown in the result of the direct effect on the variable pay job design on the variable pay human resources performance, which indicates that the variable job design does not have a significant effect either on the variable human resource performance. In other words, the intensity of the job design value will not affect the integrity level of human resource performance. In addition, a mediating effect of the variable job commitment is found on the effect of the job design and the organizational culture on the human resource performance is there. This is giving the practical implication. The positive implication of the findings are in the sector of HR construction services of the national consultants represented by the ISEC deserves to be described that the synergy of human resource performance in the sector is both partially and jointly played by the HR management aspect in the form of the worker commitment, and that is the work environment, work passion, work initiative, etc. This study has contributed on the human resource management to find out these how this in the flexible conditions also we can work out with the work initiative and practically developing the relationship is there. This is the book recommendation, Culture by Design, 8 simple steps to drive better individual and organizational performance are there. And this installation a high performing culture in any organization based on his many years of experience as a successful CEO. The Friedman demystifies culture by making it surprisingly simple, practical and easy to implement, and this should be required reading for every CEO. That is it is required to be ultimately that is the how one has to be the very practical and easy so that they can make the create a culture of institutionalization is there. These are the references for the further studies. I am sure you will go through these references and get detail into your knowledge. So, you will be able to understand that is how the organization culture is to identify and to work with that culture so that the competitiveness and the efficiency both can be increased by the employees. Thank you.